Hey, welcome back to the Natural English Podcast. This is Alex here, and Sarah is with me too.
Hi everyone, nice to spend a little time with you again.
Wherever you are right now. Thanks for listening. Maybe you are cooking, maybe you are cleaning, maybe you are on a train, or just lying on your bed, in your own room. If you're at home, so today is a really good topic for you.
Yeah, this one is perfect if you are in your own space just looking around your room.
So, in this episode, we are talking about simple home comforts. What makes a home feel cozy and comfortable? And I want to give you a little listening challenge right from the start.
Okay, I like this. A challenge at the beginning.
It is easy. Do not worry. In a moment, Sarah is going to tell a short story about coming home on a cold day. While you listen, I want you to listen carefully for one key word. The word is blanket. Blanket. That soft thing you put over you to stay warm. At the end of her story, ask yourself what exactly made Sarah feel cozy in that situation.
So, just relax. Listen and see if you notice that word, blanket.
All right, Sarah. Can you share that little cozy moment? Just a simple story. When you came home tired on a cold day.
Yeah, I remember one day last winter. It was a really long day at work. It was dark when I finished, and outside it was cold and a bit rainy. I was feeling tired, and my fingers were freezing. When I finally opened the door to my apartment, the first thing I did was turn on a small warm lamp in the living room. Not a big bright light, just a soft yellow lamp in the corner. Then I went straight to the kitchen, put the kettle on, and made a cup of hot herbal tea. While the water was boiling, I changed into my soft home clothes, an old t-shirt and really comfortable pants. Then I took my favorite thick blanket from the sofa and I put on some fluffy socks. I sat in my quiet corner of the sofa, wrapped the blanket around my legs, held the hot cup in my hands, and just listened to the silence for a minute. No TV, no music, just that warm light, the smell of tea, and the feeling of the blanket and the socks. In that moment, my home felt really, really cozy.
I can almost feel that. So, listening challenge check. Did you hear the key word? It was blanket. And what made Sarah feel cozy in that moment? It was a mix of things, right? The soft blanket, the warm light from the lamp, the hot tea, and that quiet corner on the sofa.
Yeah, it was not something big or expensive, just those small details that made the space feel safe and warm after a hard day.
When you were sitting there, did you talk to anyone? Or did you just enjoy the silence?
I just enjoyed the silence. I think that quiet moment was part of the cozy feeling. No notifications, no messages, just me, my tea, and the blanket.
So, by the end of this episode, we want you to be able to talk about your own cozy space like that. Not just, my room is comfortable, but with real details.
Yeah, instead of only saying, my room is nice, you will be able to say things like, it has warm lighting, a soft blanket on the sofa, and a quiet corner where I can relax.
Exactly. And you can use this in small talk with friends, with coworkers, or even with a teacher or language partner. It is a simple topic, but it feels personal and real.
And cozy is a really nice topic for getting to know someone because you learn what makes them feel relaxed and safe.
So we talked a bit about your cozy moment after work, but to really describe a cozy home, we need some good natural vocabulary, not just the basic words.
Right. We can look at different parts of a home, like lighting, furniture, smells, sounds, all those little things that change how a space feels.
Let us start with the basic words and phrases you can use to talk about a cozy space. And we will keep it really natural, not textbook style. So Sarah, a lot of learners, when they talk about their home, they just say things like, "It is nice," or "It is comfortable," and that is okay. But it is also kind of basic, right?
Yeah, exactly. Those words are fine, but they are very general. Today, I want to give you and our listeners some more specific, cozy words. Not difficult words, just more clear.
Nice. So, if I want to say, "My living room feels really cozy and relaxing after work," what are some better words I can use?
Okay, let us keep it simple. We can think about 4 things: light, textures like pillows and blankets, smells, and sounds. Those 4 things can make a place feel cozy or not cozy.
All right, I like that. 4 little boxes in my head. So maybe we start with light.
Yeah, light is a big one. So instead of just saying, "I have a light," you can say something like, "warm lighting." Warm lighting means the color of the light is a bit yellow, a bit soft, not bright white like in an office.
Warm lighting, I like that.
You could say, "In the evening, I like warm lighting in my living room. It feels more relaxing." That sounds very natural.
So, instead of just "I have a light," I can say, "I like warm lighting in the evenings in my living room." That sounds more like a real person, right?
Yeah, that is good. I might just make it a bit shorter. Maybe, "I like warm lighting in my living room in the evenings," but your version is also okay.
Okay, warm lighting, what else with light?
2 more easy ones: soft light and dim light. Soft light is like not sharp, not strong. For example, I like soft light from a small lamp when I read before bed.
Soft light from a small lamp. Yeah, that already feels cozy when you say it.
And dim light means the light is low, a little dark, on purpose. For example, we usually have dim light in the living room when we watch movies. It feels like a cinema, and it is cozy.
Dim light for movies. Yeah, that is true. My living room is not huge, but when the lights are dim, it suddenly feels kind of safe and comfortable.
Exactly. And one more light phrase that people love is fairy lights. Those little string lights people put around a window or a bookshelf. You can say, "I put fairy lights around my window to make the room feel cozy."
Right. Those little tiny lights. So I could say, "I have fairy lights behind my sofa and they make the room feel warm in the evening."
Perfect. That is supernatural.
Okay, so that was light. What about textures and objects? The things we can touch.
Yeah, this is the fun one. Think about what feels soft or comfortable on your body. So, soft blanket, fluffy pillow, cushions, a rug on the floor, a comfy sofa.
I'm already getting sleepy just listening.
So, for example, you can say, "I love sitting on my comfy sofa with a soft blanket and a fluffy pillow." That is a very natural, cozy sentence.
Comfy sofa, soft blanket, fluffy pillow. I actually have a small rug in front of my sofa. I did not realize that is one reason it feels cozy.
Yeah, exactly. You can say, "I have a soft rug in front of my sofa so my feet do not get cold. It makes the room feel more cozy."
Soft rug in front of my sofa. That is nice and clear. Not just "my living room is good."
Yeah, it gives a picture. And you can also mention materials like a wooden table. So you might say, "I have a wooden coffee table and lots of cushions on the sofa. It feels really homey."
Homey, yeah. Okay, so that is light and textures. What about smells?
Smell is so important. Instead of just saying, "It smells good," you can say, "The smell of coffee, a scented candle, fresh air, the smell of baking."
Yeah, the smell of coffee in the morning, that is powerful.
You could say, "In the morning, my home smells like coffee, and it makes the kitchen feel warm and cozy," or, "I like lighting a scented candle in the evening, so my living room smells nice and relaxing."
Lighting a scented candle in the evening. That sounds very peaceful.
Yeah, and do not forget fresh air. You might say, "I open the window for a few minutes, and the fresh air makes the room feel clean and comfortable."
Nice. Fresh air, scented candle, smell of coffee. All of that is much more real than just "it smells good."
Exactly.
Okay, last box in my head, sounds and atmosphere, right?
Yeah, you can use simple words like quiet, peaceful, not too noisy, and then add small details like background music or rain sounds.
Rain sounds like those apps people play to sleep?
Yeah, exactly. So you can say, "In the evening, my apartment is quiet and peaceful. I usually play soft background music, so it feels cozy." Or, "I like listening to rain sounds while I read on the sofa."
I like that pattern. Quiet and peaceful, with soft background music. I can really imagine the room.
Yeah, and all of this is still B2 level. It is not advanced, but it sounds much more natural.
Can I try something very textbook, very robot?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, my living room is very convenient and good.
Yeah, that sounds a little bit like a robot. It is not wrong, but it is very general. Convenient and good do not tell me anything. I cannot see your living room in my mind.
Yeah, it feels totally dead when I say it.
So instead, you could say, "My living room feels really cozy." Or even better, "My living room feels cozy because I have a soft rug and warm lighting." Now we know why it feels cozy.
Right, so I give one or two details. Soft rug, warm lighting, scented candle, something like that.
Exactly. When you add those little details, your English sounds more natural, and the other person can really imagine your space.
So we have got some nice words now. Warm lighting, soft blanket, fluffy pillows, soft rug, scented candle, quiet and peaceful with background music. All those good things.
Yeah, that is a really good base.
But vocabulary is only part of it. The big question is, how do we use these words naturally in real conversation? Like when someone asks about your place, or when you are talking about your dream home.
Yeah, exactly. So next, let us look at full sentences and little patterns you can just copy, not only single words.
All right, in the next part, let us look at some real-life sentences and expressions you can use when you describe your cozy home.
Okay, so we talked about cozy objects and cozy feelings, but now I'm thinking, how do we put this into real sentences? Like natural ones, not robot English.
Yeah, exactly. You might know the words, like blanket, warm light, cushions, but then your brain freezes when you try to speak. So, in this part, let's build some really simple patterns you can use again and again.
Nice. So, imagine I say, I know the words now. How can I put them together in natural sentences so I don't sound like a robot?
Good question. So, let's start with one super useful pattern. It's this: my place feels, and then you add an adjective or a short feeling. For example, my place feels really cozy in the evenings.
So not, my apartment is very comfortable, but more like, my place feels really cozy at night.
Exactly. When you say feels, it sounds more natural, more emotional. You're not just giving information, you're giving a feeling. So you can say, my place feels bright and open, or my room feels calm and quiet in the morning.
Okay, so first pattern. My place feels plus a feeling word. What about when we want to explain why it feels cozy?
Yeah, then we go to the second pattern. It feels cozy because, and then your reason. So for example, it feels cozy because I have lots of cushions and warm lighting.
Right, so you're connecting the feeling and the reason.
Yes. And you can change cozy. You can say, it feels a bit cold because the walls are empty. Or, it feels really homey because I have photos of my family on the wall.
Nice, and I like that word you just used, homey.
Yeah, homey is a great word. It means it feels like a real home. Warm, relaxed, personal. For example, this cafe is small, but it's really homey. You feel comfortable there.
Love that. Okay, what about when we want to compare, like big house, small house?
Then we use another simple pattern. I prefer because, so for example, I prefer smaller spaces because they feel more comfortable and homey, or I prefer bright rooms because they make me feel awake.
So easy but powerful. I prefer because...
Yeah, and with this, you can answer so many questions. Someone asks, do you like living in a studio? You can say, I prefer smaller places because they feel cozy and I don't have to clean so much.
Okay, now, small talk. Let's say a friend or a colleague says, hey, what's your apartment like?
Good. In small talk, we often use this pattern. It's nothing fancy, or it's small, but this sounds friendly and humble. You're not trying to sound rich or impressive. For example, it's pretty small, but it's cozy. I've got a big soft sofa and a lot of plants.
That sounds so natural. Can you say it again, a little slowly, so people can really hear the rhythm?
Sure, listen to the little pieces. It's pretty small, but it's cozy. I've got a big soft sofa and a lot of plants.
Nice. And there are some really natural bits in there, like pretty small.
Yeah, pretty small is very common. It doesn't mean beautiful. Here, pretty means quite or fairly. So, pretty small, pretty cozy, pretty bright. For example, my bedroom is pretty small, but the bed is really comfortable.
And you said, I've got a big soft sofa. Why I've got and not just I have?
In spoken English, I've got is super common and it sounds relaxed. You can say, I've got a big soft sofa, I've got a lot of plants, I've got a little balcony where I drink coffee.
Okay, let's do a little mini dialogue. I'll be the friend. I ask you, what's your apartment like?
All right, so you ask me and I'll answer in a natural way using our patterns.
Okay, so, Sarah, what's your apartment like?
I'd say, it's pretty small, but it's cozy. I've got a big soft sofa and a lot of plants, so it feels really homey in the evenings.
That answer feels complete, but not too long.
Exactly. And let's break why it sounds natural. First, pretty small, not just small. Then, but it's cozy. We add a positive detail. Then we give two simple details. Big soft sofa, a lot of plants. Finally, we use our feeling pattern. So it feels really homey in the evenings.
Okay, let's look at a more robot-style answer now.
Yeah, imagine you say, my apartment is not big. It is very good and comfortable.
Technically, it's correct, but it sounds like a textbook.
Right. So let's fix it step by step. First, instead of, my apartment is not big, we can say, it's pretty small. That sounds softer, more natural. Then, instead of, it is very good, we can say, I really like it. That's how people usually speak.
Okay, so we already have, it's pretty small, but I really like it.
Exactly. Now we add our cozy pattern and a detail. So we say, It's pretty small, but I really like it. It's cozy, and I've got a comfortable sofa where I relax in the evenings.
That's so much better than it is very good and comfortable.
Yeah, and notice we didn't make a long, difficult sentence. We just used simple tools. Pretty small. I really like it. It's cozy. I've got a comfortable sofa where I relax in the evenings.
Now, I want to hear about a time when your place was not cozy at all.
Oh yeah, I have a story. When I first moved into my old apartment, it was honestly not cozy. No cushions, no curtains, and this really harsh white light from the ceiling.
Ouch. So like hospital lighting.
Exactly. And I invited a friend over way too early before I fixed anything. If I describe it now using our patterns, I'd say it felt kind of cold and empty because there was almost no furniture and the light was really bright and hard.
Yeah, I can totally imagine that. It felt kind of cold and empty because...
Right. So same pattern, just negative. It felt kind of cold and empty because... And then your reason. You can use this even when your space is not perfect. Like, my room feels a bit messy because I have clothes everywhere. Or, it feels a little dark because there's only one small window.
And that's important, right? Your home doesn't have to be perfect to describe it in natural English.
Exactly. The key is the pattern, not the perfection. My place feels cozy because because it's small, and even. It felt kind of empty because...
So now we've got some sentence patterns. My place feels cozy because because it's small, but... and so on.
Yeah, and to really remember them, you need to try them with your own ideas. Your real room, your real sofa, or no sofa.
Exactly. In the next part, we'll do a little guided practice. You can repeat after us and start building your own cozy home sentences, even if you're just whispering on the train. Okay. So this part is a little different. This is the interactive part. If you can, speak out loud with us. If you cannot, that is okay. You can answer just silently in your head. We will give you a simple prompt. Then we pause. You think. You say your sentence. After that, Sarah will give you some model answers. You can copy them, or change them, or mix them with your own ideas.
Exactly. So, do not worry about perfect grammar. Really, just focus on the feeling and maybe one or two little details. We will move step by step. Short prompts first, then a little bit longer.
All right, first prompt. We start very simple. Describe the overall feeling of your home. Start with, my place feels... I will say that again. My place feels... moss. Okay, you try. Finish the sentence. My place feels... One more time. My place feels... Good.
Let me give you some examples. Listen first, then you can repeat. Example 1. My place feels really cozy in the evenings. Cozy means warm, comfortable, and relaxed. Like a place where you want to curl up and rest. So repeat with me, a little slowly. My place feels really cozy in the evenings. Nice. Example 2. My place feels bright and comfortable during the day. Bright means it has a lot of light. Repeat if you can. My place feels bright and comfortable during the day. Great. You can also change the time, like in the mornings or at night.
Okay, next step. Now we add a reason. Why does it feel cozy or comfortable? We start with, it feels cozy because...
So your turn. Finish this. It feels cozy because... Take another moment. It feels cozy because... Nice.
Here are some models. First one. It feels cozy because I have soft lighting and a big rug. Soft lighting means the light is gentle, not too strong, maybe from lamps or candles. Repeat with me. It feels cozy because I have soft lighting and a big rug. Good. Second example. It feels cozy because it is quiet and I have lots of books. Quiet means not noisy, peaceful. Say it with me. It feels cozy because it is quiet and I have lots of books. You can change the details. Maybe it feels cozy because I have plants or because I have pictures of my family.
Now we add something about size, and we use a contrast. So we use it is, but I. For example, it is small, but it is really cozy. So your turn. Think of your home. Start with it is, but it is, but one more time. It is, but nice.
Listen to these. Then we can repeat. It is small, but it is really cozy. Say it with me. It is small, but it is really cozy. Good. Another one. It is not very modern, but it is comfortable and homey. Homey is a nice word. Homey means it feels like a real home. Simple, relaxed, friendly. Repeat. It is not very modern, but it is comfortable and homey. You can also say things like, it is pretty old, but I feel relaxed there.
Okay, now let us put these pieces together. I will play the role of a friendly coworker, or maybe a classmate. I ask you a normal question. You answer in your own way, so I will ask. So, what is your place like? When you hear the question, answer. Use any of the ideas we practiced. Feeling, reason, size, ready. Here we go. So, what is your place like? Take a bit more time. So, what is your place like? Nice.
Now listen to a sample answer, then we can say it together. It is pretty small, but it is really cozy. My place feels bright during the day, and it feels cozy because I have soft lighting and a big rug. So you hear size, feeling, reason. Let us do it slowly. Repeat after me in short parts. It is pretty small, but it is really cozy. My place feels bright during the day, and it feels cozy because I have soft lighting and a big rug. Good. You can mix and match. Change the words so it is true for you.
Let us talk about a little fail. A small mistake many learners make. Imagine this. I ask you, so what is your place like? And you say only, my home is normal, or my house is usual. And then silence. The moment dies. The conversation stops. It is not wrong, but it is very, very short.
Yeah, and we can make it so much better with just a few extra words. Listen to this upgrade. It is nothing fancy, but it is really cozy. Nothing fancy means it is simple, not expensive. Repeat with me. It is nothing fancy, but it is really cozy, nice. Another better version. It is pretty simple, but I feel relaxed there. Say it. It is pretty simple, but I feel relaxed there. So instead of, my home is normal, you give a feeling. And one small detail.
Let us practice that contrast one more time. I will say the short, boring version. You answer with the better one. Out loud, if you can. I say, my home is normal. You say, it is nothing fancy, but it is really cozy. Ready? My home is normal. Good. Again, I say, My house is usual. You say, it is pretty simple, but I feel relaxed there. My house is usual. Nice.
If you followed along with this practice, you already did a lot. You described the feeling of your home. You gave reasons. You talked about size, and you used that but contrast. So yeah, you just described your home in English. That is great progress. And remember, it is totally fine if your sentences were not perfect. The important thing is, you shared a feeling and at least one or two details.
One more thought before we move on. Maybe your current home is not your ideal cozy place. Maybe you like it. But your dream cozy space looks a bit different. In the next part, we will imagine that perfect cozy place. We will talk about your ideal or future cozy home and all those small details that really matter to you. So, let us go a little deeper. Let us imagine your perfect cozy space and learn how to talk about it in more detail. So now, I want to go a bit more personal. Up to now, we talked about cozy homes in a general way, but you don't need a big house to feel comfortable. Sometimes the coziest place is just a little corner, a chair, a small lamp, maybe a plant. That's all. In this part, we want to imagine our own ideal cozy space, not a whole mansion, just one special spot.
Yeah, I like that. One small space that feels just right. It could be a corner by a window or a tiny room or even just a part of your bedroom. Something simple, but very you.
Exactly. So Sarah, can you describe your own ideal cozy corner or maybe your dream cozy room? Just one space. And try to use the kind of language we've been using. Things like, it would feel, I'd love to have, I imagine.
Okay, let me imagine it. So, my ideal cozy space would be a small reading corner by a big window. Not a whole living room, just one side of the room. There would be a comfortable armchair, not too big, but soft. I'd love to have a thick, soft blanket over the back of the chair so I can pull it around my shoulders when I sit down.
I can picture that already. And what about the light there? Because light really changes how a place feels.
Yeah, the light is really important. So during the day, I imagine a lot of natural light coming from the window. Not direct, strong sun in my eyes, just gentle daylight. And in the evening, I'd have a warm, soft lamp next to the chair, maybe a lamp with a fabric shade so the light is not harsh. I would also love some fairy lights along the window. You know, those tiny string lights that make the room feel a bit magical, a bit dreamy.
Fairy lights. Yeah, that kind of small, warm light. It makes everything feel calmer. What about textures? Like, what do you touch in that space?
Good question. So, under my feet, I'd have a soft, fluffy rug. Not too big, but big enough for my feet to feel warm. I imagine a wooden side table next to the chair. Not perfect, maybe a little old, but that makes it charming. Charming just means it's not new or modern, but it has character, and that makes it attractive. On the table, there would be a big mug of tea and maybe a candle with a gentle smell. Something like vanilla or maybe fresh linen. Nothing too strong.
Nice. So the space is kind of simple, but with little details that feel special. Would you want any plants there?
Oh yes, definitely. I'd like a couple of green plants on the windowsill and maybe one bigger plant on the floor. The plants would make the space feel alive and fresh. I think they would balance the soft blanket and the fluffy rug. So it's not only soft and warm, there is also something natural and green.
Yeah, that makes sense. Now, I'm curious about the sound in your cozy corner. Would you want it to be very quiet, or do you like a little background noise?
I think I'd like it mostly quiet, but not completely silent. I imagine some soft background sound, maybe gentle instrumental music. No lyrics so I can focus when I read. Or I'd love the sound of rain against the window. You know those rain sound recordings? I sometimes play them when I want to relax. So it would feel peaceful but not empty.
Yeah, I know those. They're really calming. And what would you actually do in that space? Only reading?
Reading would be the main thing, yes. I imagine myself there with a good book, a mug of tea in my hand, and a blanket over my legs. But I'd also use that corner for slow, quiet activities, maybe journaling, or having a long, relaxed talk with a close friend. Just two people sitting, maybe sharing some snacks. It would feel safe, like a little nest. Nest is another nice word here. A nest is the home of a bird, but we also use it to mean a small, protected place where you feel safe and relaxed.
A little nest. Yeah, that gives a very cozy image. So for you, this ideal corner would feel private? Protected?
Exactly. It would feel safe, private, and slow. I wouldn't have a TV there, and I wouldn't have my work laptop there. I'd keep that corner just for rest, reading, and quiet time. When I sit in that chair, my brain would know, okay, this is my calm place.
That's interesting, because I think I'm a bit different from you. Personally, I prefer more open spaces. For me, my ideal cozy place would have a lot of natural light and maybe a big open view. I'm the opposite of the small protected nest. I like when a room feels a bit bigger and I can see outside easily.
Yeah, that's true. You like open space and I like smaller, enclosed spaces. But that's the nice thing, right? Cozy can look different for everyone. For you, it might be a wide room with huge windows and a view. For me, it might be a corner where I almost feel hugged by the walls and the chair.
Right. Cozy is personal. And that's what we want you, the listener, to think about now. So, if you can, take a second and imagine your own ideal cozy space. It doesn't have to be your real home. It can just be in your head.
Yeah, you can close your eyes if that's safe, or just look around while you think. What do you see there? Is it bright or is the light soft and dim? Are there plants? Is there a soft rug or maybe a big sofa? What do you hear? Is it quiet? Maybe there's music or city sounds or birds.
And what do you feel? Not just emotions, but with your body. Do you feel a warm blanket, a cool pillow, a wooden floor? Think about these details. They help you describe the space in English.
If you're not sure how to start, you can use a simple little template in your mind. Something like, my ideal cozy space would be, and then describe the place. Then it would have, and you add things like a big window or a soft carpet. And then it would feel, and you describe the feeling like calm, safe, or warm.
Yeah, that's a nice, simple way to do it. My ideal cozy space would be, it would feel. You can say this in your head, or out loud, or maybe write it in a notebook later.
And even if your current home is not perfect, that's okay. Just having the words to describe your dream cozy space is already useful. You can use this language in small talk when you talk with friends about your home or when you look for a new apartment or room.
So now, you can talk not only about your real home, but also about your dream cozy space. Before we finish, let's quickly review the most useful words and phrases from today and give you one small task you can do after listening.
Yeah, a short recap will really help the new language stick in your mind. Just a few key phrases and one simple homework idea.
Okay, let's summarize and give you a simple homework idea. So, yeah, I think we can start to slow down now. We've talked a lot about cozy homes today. Let's just wrap it up together.
Yeah. Let's keep this last part simple and calm, almost like we're just sitting on a sofa together.
I like that. Okay. Before we say goodbye, I want to quickly review a few useful phrases from today. Not everything, just the most helpful ones. First one is, my place feels warm and peaceful. Sarah, can you give one more example with that?
Sure, you could say, my place feels cozy in the evening, or my place feels a bit messy, but still comfortable. It's a really nice way to start describing your home.
Exactly. You can talk about the feeling, not just the size. Second pattern is, it feels cozy because... So, you give a reason. For example, it feels cozy because I have warm lighting. Sarah, one more?
Yeah, it feels cozy because there's a soft blanket on the sofa. Or it feels cozy because it's quiet and peaceful. You say the feeling, and then the reason after because.
Nice. And the last pattern we'll review is, my ideal cozy space would. This one is for your dream place. Like, my ideal cozy space would have a fluffy pillow and a scented candle. Could you give one more dream example?
Okay. My ideal cozy space would be small but full of soft blankets and warm lighting, so you can build a picture. Just with simple details like that.
Great. We also use some nice words today. Warm lighting, soft blanket, fluffy pillows, quiet, peaceful, scented candle, cozy corner. Even if you just use 2 or 3 of these, your English sounds much more natural.
Yeah, and you don't need long sentences. You can simply say, I love my cozy corner with a soft blanket. That's already really clear and really natural.
All right. Now, I want to give you a few questions to think about, maybe after you finish listening. First question, what 3 things make your home feel cozy right now? It could be a blanket, a plant, quiet mornings, anything.
And second, what is one small change you would like to make to feel more comfortable at home? Maybe, I want to buy a softer pillow, or I want to make a small cozy corner by the window. Just one change.
And the last question is, how would you describe your cozy space to a friend in English? You can start with, my place feels seed, or it feels cozy because, and just add details.
If you want to practice more deeply, you could write a short paragraph, just 4 or 5 sentences, and you could record a voice message to yourself on your phone. Describe your room or your favorite cozy corner. Use those patterns and words from this episode.
Yeah, speaking into your phone is a really good idea, and this kind of language is actually very useful in real life. For example, small talk with coworkers or classmates. Someone might ask, so what's your place like? You can answer, my place feels small but cozy. It feels cozy because I have warm lighting and a soft blanket.
Or, if you talk to a landlord or a real estate agent, you can say, I want a place that feels cozy and quiet. You don't need difficult words, just cozy, quiet, warm lighting, soft blanket. That already gives a clear picture.
Also, when you chat with friends online or share pictures of your room, you can write something like, this is my cozy corner with fluffy pillows and a scented candle. These are small, simple sentences, but they sound very natural.
And remember, T, it is totally okay to make mistakes. Really, even short, simple sentences can be beautiful if you add a few nice details, like light, sounds, blankets, pillows. Don't wait to be perfect. Just try.
Before we finish, Do you remember our little listening challenge from the beginning of the episode? The key word was cozy, and Sarah talked about her cozy moment after work, coming home tired, changing into comfortable clothes, sitting in her cozy corner with a soft blanket and warm lighting.
Yeah, that moment is still my favorite. And now, I hope you can notice your own cozy moments too. When you go home today, but just look around. Notice the light, notice the sounds, notice the small things that make you feel comfortable. And then, try to describe them in English, even in your head.
Okay, we'll stop here for today. Thank you so much for spending this time with us on the Natural English Podcast. We're really happy you chose to listen and to practice your English with us.
Yeah, thank you. Take care of yourself, make a little cozy space if you can, and keep using your English in real life. All right, bye for now.
Bye, everyone. See you in the next episode.